Today I reveal my golden ticket, and it is... Gentlemen, the time has finally come. No, the title is not a clickbait. This is not a lie. Today I am revealing our golden ticket for Madden 24 Ultimate Team that we on this channel have decided together. And we cement the middle of this series with the stamp of our brand new 99 overall golden ticket, boys. Now, it all started with episode 1 when I revealed to you guys that I got a golden ticket. One of my subscribers, Aaron, decided to give it to me for me and the community to decide who we would be making for a golden ticket. So big shout out to him. We couldn't have done this series without him. He is an absolute legend. Everybody give some W's for Aaron down below. Now, looking back on it, I had a couple of ideas who I wanted to make. Of course, loyal subscribers of the channel know exactly who my favorite card is in Madden every single year, who finally returned this year. But of course, I wanted to know what everybody else thought that we should make in Madden 24. And I'm not gonna lie, it is a bit overwhelming getting a golden ticket because there's so many people that have so many different ideas on who you should make. You don't want to make a bad card, you don't want to mess up at all, and you want to make everybody happy with the card you decide. But in terms of making everybody happy, I just want to make my subscriber base happy because you guys are the ones that support me, and you guys are the ones that show up to every single video. So this card is for you guys. And I mean that literally, because if we get 1,500 likes on this video, gentlemen, I'm going to be giving away a bundle, a $100 bundle. One of my lucky subscribers comments down below his like button, so one of you guys can open up packs for when our golden ticket selection actually drops. So be sure to hit the like button on this video if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new. I would greatly appreciate it. It's 100% free to do so. Now again, I had tons of ideas of who I wanted to make. There's so many great cards in this game that I have enjoyed so much, but I didn't know exactly who I wanted to make, and I didn't know who you guys wanted to make. So of course, in that first video, I asked you guys to name some players that you wanted me to make it up. Because again, this was not only my golden ticket, I wanted you guys to give some input as well so we could make this together and make this as fun as possible for everybody in my community to enjoy. But it was with all of your guys' choices that I made the bracket. And I may be lying there because it was actually 2 brackets, one for myself and one for your guys' top choices. In my bracket, I went through in my last video deciding who my final 2 choices would be. There were some upsets along the way, but some great cards overall that were in that bracket that I will remember forever and always. But it didn't come as a shock to anybody when the final 2 choices ended up being Donald Parham free safety, which may have been a shock, and of course, my king, my GOAT, the legend himself who returned to Madden 24 this year, Andrew Luck. We had my final 2 choices down to a T, but we had to go and get your guys' final choices, which was a bit of a hassle, I cannot lie. I ended up doing a live stream on Saturday night where you guys decided on your bracket who your choices would be. The 1 seed was Deuce Vaughn because you guys are absolute trolls and you're insane. And then the 2 seed was CJ Stroud. One of these guys would make it to the end. The other one would end up getting upset just 2 rounds into the bracket, which was Deuce Vaughn, of course. Now, along the way, we had some twists and turns, some guys losing that they probably shouldn't have, and then some guys getting put back into the bracket that also probably shouldn't have. To be honest with you, I think you guys were trolling me the whole time, but you know what? I'm going to remain impartial, and we'll see you, and I'm just going to let you guys cook with all of your ideas that you had. But at the end of all the voting, you guys ended up bringing it down to 2 players from your bracket and 2 players from my bracket. The first player from your bracket, 97 overall, CJ Stroud, one of the best rookie QB seasons of all time. We could make this card into an absolute monster. He has 91 speed right now, 96 throw power, 96 throw on the run, 97 throw under pressure. He's 6'3", meaning, you know, he's big enough to ride. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. He's 6'3", lots of meat on him, no pause. 79 carrying. Of course, there's a few things we'd have to upgrade on him, but regardless, this would be one of the most fun QBs to use in the entire game. And then, of course, in my bracket, we had Andrew Luck. Now, I had to make the set for this card because for some reason he wasn't up in the auction house, so just pretend that we're in the auction house right now just showing different cards. Andrew Luck, though, one of my favorite cards of all time. This was my favorite QB in the game. His previous card was my favorite QB in the game, and I've been talking about him for years, saying that I want to make a golden ticket of him. So who better to be in my final 2 on my bracket than Andrew Luck, the captain and my absolute hero, and Pookie Bear and Sugar Bear. and little creamsicle. Also in your guys' top choices was Odell Beckham Jr. 93 overall, 93 speed. One of my favorite cards in the entirety of this game. So shout out to you guys for voting for him into the top of your bracket. But he kind of only got in because we did a wheel spin to add 2 different players to the final 2 of the bracket to make it a final 4 of your guys' bracket. So Odell was one of these guys. And the other one you guys voted in was Michael Vick. This is, of course, another one from the wheel spin. So we have one more that you guys voted on into your top 4, but Michael Vick, incredible card, 95 speed, 96 acceleration, and he has enough speed to chase down and catch any dog in the world. And then the other part of you guys' top 4 was left outside linebacker Calvin Johnson, 97 speed on him, 82 block shed, 6'5". Absolute hammer of a wiener on him as well, I have to say. At least I would hope so and assume so. This card's absolutely incredible, though, one of the best users in the game, so making a golden ticket of him would be absolutely amazing, and you guys choosing him for your top 4 was incredible. And then, of course, my second card in my bracket facing off against Andrew Luck would be free safety Donald Parham. This 95 was incredible, 95 speed on him, 6'8". This would be one of the best users in the entire game. But, of course, we can only choose one of these guys. So from there, we brought it down to one player from each bracket. And this was a tough decision to make. So many non-QBs in this bracket, and I have to say, every single year I've made a golden ticket, it's been a quarterback. We've built a dynasty and an empire on quarterback golden tickets over the past couple of years, boys. And unfortunately, all dynasties and empires are meant to fail at some point. But today is not that day, fortunately, for you guys. Because our final 2 are Andrew Luck and CJ Stroud. And while it would be so easy for me to just choose between these guys, I'm going to bring it back to where it all started, and I'm going to let Madden decide who our golden ticket is right now. We've got Andrew Luck in franchise, and we've got CJ Stroud in franchise. I am simulating one season, and whichever player comes out with the better stats is going to be our golden ticket, boys. Without further ado, let's get in and see who our golden ticket is about to be for Madden 24 Ultimate Team. Golden ticket, and I will be doing a huge pack opening tomorrow for the first drop of golden tickets, so don't miss those videos. Be first on them because I'm going to do some giveaways on them for you guys that have supported this series all month long. And let's make this the greatest golden ticket season of all time. Additionally, boys, Underdog Fantasy has a brand new special offer for Ant. Link is in the description down below. Get up to a free $100 by matching your first deposit. It's as simple as that. You got to use code DOM, though. Link is in the description, top of the description, and pin comment down below. Oddly enough, the Colts beat the Texans week 18 of the season. And those standings are not looking very good for the Texans, I can't lie. But it all comes down to who had better stats, boys. First things first, we have Andrew Luck. Only 3,300 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Oh, that is not looking too good. Did he have any rushing yards whatsoever? He had 561 rushing yards in 5. That's actually kind of disgusting and wild, I have to say. Also, shout out to anybody that knows this is Sam Ellinger, who is Andrew Luck. That's who our participant is today. But it all comes down to CJ Stroud, and he had 3,200 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. Although the yards are close, the touchdowns and interceptions are absolutely horrendous for CJ Stroud, meaning our golden ticket is going to be Andrew Luck, gentlemen. Which honestly is probably a good thing because I've been hearing lots of rumors that somebody is actually making a CJ Stroud golden ticket, so I wouldn't want to take that from him. So Andrew Luck would be the best option for us anyways. Now the stats we're going to boost are speed, break tackle, carrying, and juke move because he already has incredible passing stats, obviously. And we want to make him all around super balanced. And speed you can actually boost this year. He's going to have 99 speed base. It's going to be insane. Now, as far as abilities go, we can't choose things like set feet lead or pass lead elite to be 0 AP abilities because EA is stupid and they don't know what they're doing 99% of the time. But we do get a special golden ticket X factor, which I'm assuming is hopefully going to be all of the best QB abilities or whatever position you pick for any golden ticket that will be always active on the card. That's just a guess. Don't quote me on that. It's simply a guess. If EA's smart, that's what they'll do. But for our 0 appeal abilities, we're going with Gunslinger, Fearless, and Hot Route Master. And our 1 AP discounts are going to be Roaming Deadeye and Truz. They didn't say we couldn't choose Truz, and there's been QBs with Truz as their abilities this year. So that's what we're going with. 99 speed, Andrew Luck is incoming, boys. Be ready, and thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll see you for the first Andrew Luck gameplay in the entire world. world later this week.
I have a record of 142-19 in the money games that I've played this year live on stream, and I know that because I have a spreadsheet keeping track of every single game. Now, if you don't know what a money game is, it's where a viewer comes and challenges me to a game of Madden, and we both put a little bit of money on the line to make things more interesting. Now, over the course of these games, I've figured out some highly successful winning strategies, so today I'm giving away all my secrets by sharing with you guys the 6 overpowered setups that are most responsible for helping me win these games. Each play checks one of the boxes of the 6 key requirements for any offensive scheme, and all of these setups come from my Chargers Gun Doubles Hip ebook, which some of you have been dominating with for months now if you're a premium member over at playbookprofessor.gg. But to start things off, let's go over the base play of this scheme, which is out of the play PA Go slot cross in the formation Gun Doubles Hip. By base play, I basically mean that this is the play I call the most, and as long as I make the proper reads, it can beat just about any coverage in the game. With this play and every play in this scheme, I always make sure I have the play flipped so that the running back is lined up on the short side of the field. So if I'm on the right hash, my running back will be on the right, and if I'm on the left hash, my running back will be on the left. My pre-snap adjustments are to put the tight end on a drag, put the running back on a swing route, and motion out the wide side outside receiver. After the snap, my first read is always going to be the tight end on the drag. Against man coverage, because drags are man-beating routes, I always make sure that I pass lead the ball outside so he can keep his momentum and quickly turn upfield after the catch. If it ends up being zone coverage and my opponent isn't guarding the flat, then I'll also hit my tight end and take the easy yards underneath. My next read is the running back on the swing route, and once again, if my opponent isn't guarding the flat on that side, then I go ahead and take the easy yards every time and try to make defenders miss after the catch. My third read is the slot receiver on the crosser, and this crosser is a man-beating route as well, so against man coverage, I always freeform the pass up and outside, which puts the ball in a spot where only my receiver can catch it. Against zone coverage, I always pass lead the throw down and outside, and that helps keep the ball away from any defenders in deep blue zones being pulled deep by the solo receiver on the streak. My final read is the wide side outside receiver on the deep in route, and if everything else is covered, it usually means that I'll have a small window to hit the in route over the middle. Even against man coverage, I'll throw to the deep in route, but I always make sure to click onto the receiver and bring him back to the ball to make sure the defender can't make a play. This setup out of PA Go slot cross is the play I run whenever I'm not sure what to call, and it's perfect for feeling out the defense and getting a sense for how my opponent is playing. Next, let's talk about my favorite zone beater, which is going to be out of the play switch wide receiver drag. With my running back lined up on the short side of the field, my adjustments are to put the solo receiver on a flat route, put the running back on a streak, put the tight end on a drag, and motion out the wide side outside receiver and put him on a streak. After the snap, my first read is the tight end on the drag, and usually in zone coverage, it seems like this is who my opponent covers, but if your opponent leaves it open, go ahead and take the easy yards. My next read is the running back on the streak, and with the drag and flat pulling zone defenders apart, the streak gets into a really nice spot in the seam where I can hit him for easy yards. My third read is the wide side inside receiver on the corner route, and I always make sure to pass lead the ball outside to keep it away from the outside cornerback who will be pulled deep by the outside receiver on the streak. My final read is the solo receiver in the flat if needed, but most of the time I never get to that point since one of the other routes is almost always open. This setup out of switch wide receiver drag is my favorite way to attack zone coverage, and because it uses the same pre-snap motion as my base play out of PA Go slot cross, my opponent never has a clue which setup is coming. Now let's talk about one of the most important aspects of any offense, running the ball. For this, I always call the play read option, and this particular version in Gun Doubles Hip is one of the most underrated run plays in the game. Before the snap, I always identify the read key defender who will have an R icon above his head. Now most of the time, the read key will stay home, but if he crashes in after the snap, then I don't press anything to keep the ball with my quarterback and take off into the open space on the outside. If the read key stays home, then I hold A on Xbox, which is X if you're on PlayStation, to hand the ball off to my running back. The way I get the very most out of this run is that I do not hold the sprint button until I get past the line of scrimmage. Doing that helps ensure that I can find an open running lane, and it also helps my O linemen hold their blocks longer. Sometimes I have to bounce the run outside, while other times I cut it back inside, and it really just depends on where the holes open up. In the rare case where there is no read key defender before the snap, I always choose to play it safe and just hand the ball off to my running back. Read option is one of my favorite run plays in the game, and when mixed in with the other passing setups out of gun doubles hip, it's an absolute nightmare for my opponents to try and stop. Now let's talk about my favorite way to attack man coverage. For this, because I use the Chargers offensive playbook, I audible over to the play verticals in the formation gun trips tight end offset. To do this, after coming out in any play in gun doubles hip, I can make this audible by pressing X on Xbox, which is square if you're on PlayStation, to pull up the audibles menu, then pressing right on the D-pad 3 times to bring me to the gun trips tight end offset audibles, and then selecting the play verticals. While my players are repositioning, I always watch how the defense moves to match the alignment of my new formation. If my opponent has defensive backs lined up directly across from each of my receivers while having almost no defenders on the side of my tight end and running back, then I can confirm that it's almost definitely man coverage. My pre-snap adjustments are to put the inside receiver on a drag, put the tight end on a drag, and put the running back on a wheel route. All 3 of these routes will torch man coverage. After the snap, my first read is the running back wheel route, and especially against a cover 0 blitz, if the user doesn't manually guard the running back, you'd be surprised at how often he gets left completely unguarded and can get you some enormous gains on the outside. After that, I read the inside receiver and the tight end on the drags crossing over the middle. Since drags are man-beating routes, it's impossible for the user to guard both of them, and I just have to hit whichever one gets open. This is a super simple setup, but when it comes to beating man coverage, I always say the simpler, the better. Now let's go over my absolute favorite play for punching the ball in down near the goal line. For this, because I use the Chargers playbook, I audible over to the play RPO alert screen in the formation pistol double stack. To do this, after coming out in any play in gun doubles hip, I can make this audible by pressing X on Xbox, which is square if you're on PlayStation, to pull up the audibles menu, and then pressing left on the D-pad twice to bring me to the pistol double stack audibles, and then selecting the play RPO alert screen. Now an important note is that for this audible, I always come out in gun doubles hip with my running back on the right side of the formation. As long as the running back is on the right side, this is an extremely fast audible, and in just 3 or 4 seconds, my guys will get into the new formation and I can snap the ball before my opponent can even process what's going on. If my opponent is in zone coverage or isn't pressing with 2 defenders on the left side, then I will always throw to the screen on the left for basically guaranteed yards on the outside. I like to make this throw with a pass lead up, and that way my receiver will already have some upfield momentum as soon as he catches the ball. While I have thrown to the screen on the right before, the blocking on the right side is much less reliable, which is why I pretty much always throw to the receiver on the left side, since that block always gets made. And of course, just like with any RPO, if I don't feel great about the throw, or if my opponent isn't stacking the box, then I don't press anything, which will hand the ball off to my running back and allow me to take it up the middle. Once I started incorporating RPO alert screen into my scheme, I immediately found myself more consistently finishing my drives with touchdowns. Finally, let's go over my favorite play in this entire scheme, the everything beater. The reason I call this setup the everything beater is that no matter what coverage my opponent is in, this setup can get somebody open, and it's pretty much always for a huge gain. I run this out of the play flood drive, and with my running back lined up on the short side of the field, my pre-snap adjustments are to put the tight end on a streak, put the wide side inside receiver on a slant, put the wide side outside receiver on a fade, and motion over the solo receiver to turn his post into a corner route. It's important that the outside receiver is on a fade rather than a streak, since from this spot on the field, only a fade will be able to pull defenders in deep blue zones to open up space for the corner route along the sideline. After the snap, my first read is the running back on the flat route, and if my opponent isn't guarding the flat, then I go ahead and take the easy yards every time. My next read is the wide side receiver on the slant, and usually I just have to wait for him to get into a pocket of open space, and then I can hit him with a ton of room to run after the catch. My final read is the motioned over receiver on the corner route, and this is the route that's an absolute game changer. Against man coverage, this corner route gets amazing separation, and all I have to do is freeform the throw up and outside to put it in a spot where only my receiver can catch it. I can't even count the number of times that I've used this route to obliterate man coverage over the top, and as long as I freeform the pass, the defender has no chance of making a play on the ball. But this isn't just a man beater, because if my opponent is in zone coverage, this corner route is just as powerful. With the fade route pulling deep blue zone defenders with him, I just have to pass lead the corner route down and outside, and I'm once again coming away with some enormous gains. In some cases, cases, if I really want to make sure that I keep the ball away from defenders, I'll even freeform the throw down and outside, which makes sure that my receiver is catching the ball in open space. The craziest thing about this route is it runs deep enough that even if your opponent is playing their cornerbacks in backed off 30-yard cloud flats, you can wait on the route and then freeform your throw up and actually get the ball over the cornerbacks, which is almost impossible to do in this game. This everything beater setup out of Flood Drive is one of the most powerful setups in Madden, and with all 6 of these overpowered setups now in your arsenal, I promise that this offense will help you guys instantly start winning more games. And if you guys want even more overpowered setups, my full Gun Doubles Hip ebook is just one of the 18 different ebooks that you get access to as a premium member at playbookprofessor.gg. All of the ebooks include video breakdowns for every setup, as well as a PDF download with screenshots of every setup so that you can keep all of these schemes forever. Not only that, but premium members get access to all of our film room videos where I break down all kinds of different Madden tips and tricks that I promise will take your Madden game to the next level. And you don't have to take my word for it. Here's what a few of our premium members have said this year. And even if you don't want to spend a dime, we have a free membership tier as well that unlocks full access to 2 different ebooks, and soon we'll be releasing a 3rd free ebook as well. So whether you're a free member or a premium member, I know that playbookprofessor.gg will help you guys win more Madden games, and I can't wait to see you over there.